Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of The Mistake Zone, your weekly dose of our lives and the mistakes within them. My name is Jaren Wade. Joining me, as always, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Matt Alba. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Yo, I'm feeling season 6, Jaren.
That's great, Matt. But I don't want to derail you too much, Matt, because we're here back in the mistake zone. Matt, I know you said season 6, but maybe we should pull that back to the mistake zone, season 5, episode 69.5 per so naughty, because Matt, after my... I'm going to say triumphant because I want to give myself a pat on the back for subjecting you and all our friends out there for a hour-long tangent about my thoughts on Persona 5. And I thought, Matt, you know what would make great content? If we had round 2, baby. Let's start off Kasumi. Matt, what's the deal with Kasumi in the ending of Persona 5 Royal? I feel like it's so out of character for her.
Oh, man.
As someone who had COVID round 2, I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm always paranoid that I'm on the verge of having a sore throat or that my throat is extremely dry. And I feel like we have this conversation around the winter season, just in general, because Matt, I don't know about you, but I'm a sick boy once that weather changes. So I have to ask you, Matt, how's your immune system?
It's been pretty good. I've been feeling, pretty all right here, Jaren. I busted out the humidifier again because, all that dry air is coming in through the vents and, gotta keep moisturized, Jaren.
You do have to keep moisturized, but here in the winter season, that kind of means, I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm finding myself indoors a lot more just because I do not want to deal with the cold. And when I'm indoors, Matt, I play some video games. I watch some anime. I read some manga. I continue to live my man-child lifestyle, and that's okay for me, Matt. But we are doing a late recording this week. Once again, usually peek behind the curtains. We typically record Sunday evenings, but today we're recording on a Monday evening. And Matt, I feel like this was a benefit for us because, Matt, there was just a hot drop this evening here on December 4th. And I know Rockstar Games, they put out an announcement that the next, your first look at the next Grand Theft Auto will come to you live on YouTube. It will premiere, I believe, on December 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern. And 24 hours prior to that release, that premiere, I looked at the waiting room and there was already, 40K people waiting for that trailer to drop. And Matt, if there's one thing that we can look forward to when there is an anticipated release, it's leakers are going to leak, Matt.
Yes.
And just a few hours ago, someone put up full the Grand Theft Auto 6 reveal trailer, causing Rockstar to go, you know what? We're just going to release it right now. I know that we know the trailer leaked. Go watch it now. Don't watch the leak. And just out of nowhere, on this Monday evening, we got our first look at Grand Theft Auto 6. I think at the time of our recording now, this already has 4 million, 5 million views, which
Jaren,
is...
I'm looking at the thing right now. It's at 27 million.
Wow. You are correct. That's 27 million views. And I've watched it twice, Matt, if I had to be completely honest. But alongside the release of this trailer, Take-Two, they released their official press release regarding the announcement of Grand Theft Auto 6. And that, some choice sentences from this press release.
Okay.
That is, Rockstar Games announces Grand Theft Auto 6 coming 2025. And that Grand Theft
Oh.
Auto 6 is coming to PlayStation 5 computer entertainment systems and Xbox Series X and S games and entertainment systems in 2025. So, two
Hmm.
notable things from the press release, Matt.
Uh
One,
huh.
we saw it in the trailer coming out 2025. But
Yes.
two, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles, no mention of the PC. And I feel with a lot of Rockstar games, this is kind of par for the course, just because when
Mm-hmm.
the original Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, we didn't see a PC release until I think even the next gen consoles, which were, at the time, the Xbox One and the PS4, it wasn't until those came out that we really did see the PC version as well.
Yeah.
But now it's 2023. Are you surprised that there's no mention of a PC version, Matt?
No, not at all. Like,
Hmm.
just like you said, GTA 5 did not release with a PC version. So I was not expecting a PC version to come out on this like I guess at the same time as the
Yeah.
console releases.
You gotta that's Rockstar, Matt. That's their MO. They're gonna make you double and possibly triple dip just
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I think the biggest takeaway from the trailer, the coming 2025 at the
Yes.
end, further confirmed in these press releases. And Matt,
Jaren.
how are you with this growing trend of announcing things essentially 2, 3, even 4 years in advance? And when you saw the coming 2025, what was your reaction to that?
Honestly, my my reaction to coming 2025 was nope, that's not coming out in 2025. I I don't
Really?
know. I feel like I just guess I always expected it because it's GTA 6 to come out in 2026. I thought that just would have
Hmm.
been a part of its marketing.
Right,
But
right.
and I guess I just had that ingrained in my head the whole time. So I just have that sense of doubt in my head.
Hmm.
So, that's kind of where I'm standing with regards to its actual release date. But if it does hit 2025, that'll be pretty interesting. I would then expect like PC to hit in like 27 or late 26.
And I know this was going around. I don't know, maybe it was through some of the Microsoft leaked emails or kind of all that hubbub going around. But do you remember how there was it was in the news cycle for a bit where there were reports that the next generation of consoles wouldn't be here until roughly 2028. And I think timeline, when I look at something like Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out 2025,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, 3 years later with the new consoles, not only do I see, a game, an ultimate version, an enhanced edition to kind of correspond with that um, release, with
Mm-hmm.
like a new console release. But for some reason, I also think, oh, maybe that's when we see the PC version finally.
Oh, that makes sense.
And there would be something crazy like, oh, you have to have ray tracing or something to be able to play this on a PC because
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
that's 5 years away from. So essentially,
Yeah.
that's what, a year or two away from Grand Theft Auto 5, and then 5 years away from the next generation of consoles. And for some reason, now in my mid 30s, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
and that 5 years from now is approaching 40, that for some reason I can't picture 5 years in the future, just considering how the world is now,
Oh
where
man.
even 2 years into the future for Grand Theft Auto gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. It gives me that pit in my stomach. And
Mm-hmm.
with all this discourse going around with how I think Todd Howard said that he wants Starfield to last just as long as Skyrim. Now
Oh
in
man. Uh-huh.
at my age, Matt, I think those hit way different than they did when we were 10 years prior, when we were in our early 20s to mid 20s. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my existential corner for now. But
Uh-huh.
yes, before we move on, at the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, now that we finally got to see, our first look at it, what were some of your initial thoughts of watching through it? The one or two times that you already, went through it.
I mean, of course, I think, hey, this is a very pretty looking game,
Hmm.
but you mentioned this earlier to me, and like I guess I will bring it up now. The thing that stood out the most to me was the kind of TikTok style, vertical video,
Yeah.
Instagram live style video that they were showing within the trailer itself. And I'm really curious to know if that is just a trailer thing or if it's a in-game thing.
Yeah, where I know the cell phone has played a big role in
Hmm.
Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, mostly for, menu purposes and contacts and whatnot,
Hmm.
where I think in our social media age right now, just to see that emphasis on the trailer, it was the same thing you were thinking, Matt, of how much will this impact the actual game? Just because when we discussed, the prior reporting from Jason Schreier, months ago about where some details of GTA 6 first emerge, we
Hmm.
discussed the fact that, hey, how do you write a new Grand Theft Auto when the world is when the that satirical style that we tried to do for previous games uh won't even compare to some of the headlines, to some of the
Hmm.
news that we're seeing here in 2023. And again, just to see the snap no not the Snapchat, now I'm dating myself, Matt, but the TikTok overlays, the Insta Live overlays, where if you're given a phone and in game, how I wonder if there will be, ways for you to not only watch random TikToks in game,
Hmm.
but also will that have something to do with the story? Um, I know this probably goes against what being a criminal is, but I think when I see overlays like that, I my mind immediately goes to, will there be a mission where it's kind of being cut in between you playing and then it cutting to people Instagram living you and your
Oh, that's
crime as it
interesting.
progresses. And I think with just the reputation that Grand Theft Auto games have come, where they are not only are they these open world games, but these near cinematic experiences as well. I think with the idea of, utilizing social media in your game, that could create some really unique opportunities to tell this story. But yeah, we
Hmm.
got our first look at our protagonist. It kind of lines up with what we discussed a few months ago about that Bonnie and Clyde feel.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I thought it looked really impressive. Got me really excited just to see what's more. um, I think what I also, I guess, appreciated from the trailer, but it, to me, even though it's kind of framed in the way that these are your two protagonists, I feel like the female lead had a bit more spotlight. I know she had more speaking lines as well. I think more scenes revolving around her
Hmm.
solo, where it felt like she was kind of the bigger of the two protagonists, but maybe that's
Yeah.
just the first trailer, and we'll see more. We'll learn more about the male protagonist as more things are released about this game.
I'll be honest, Jaren. If I didn't know beforehand that it was supposed to be a dual protagonist kind of story,
Yeah,
I think that based off this trailer, I would have genuinely thought, "Oh, it's just singular female protagonist in this game."
right. Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from too. But yeah, Matt, looks great. Really interested to see where this game goes, especially in terms of
Hmm.
the writing. But Matt, 2025 still a daunting wait, but something to look forward to, I guess. Matt,
Hmm. Hmm.
who knows how many mistakes we'll be making from now until then, but hopefully we'll be around to tell all our friends about them.
Hmm.
But Matt, we
Hmm.
have some Grand Theft Auto 6, looking ahead. But
Hmm.
on the topic of leaks, Matt, I apologize if, I might not want to bore you and our friends about Persona, but I'm sorry, Matt. I have to take you back to the Fortnite corner just
Okay.
because, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
new Fortnite Chapter started this weekend. We
Yes.
have Fortnite Chapter 5, Season 1, and whenever you have a big, substantial update like this,
Mm-hmm.
Matt, data miner is going to data mine,
Yeah.
and we have a bunch of different leaks as well. And just to kind of piggyback off what we discussed a few, months, weeks ago as well, Chapter 5 for Fortnite is essentially their introduction to what Epic sees as their version of the metaverse. Because
Mm-hmm.
in addition to Fortnite Battle Royale, they're rolling out 3 new modes or separate experiences throughout the upcoming days.
Mm-hmm.
The first will be Lego Fortnite, which Epic describes as Lego Fortnite is the ultimate survival crafting Lego adventure. It introduces vast open worlds where the magic of Lego building and Fortnite collide, designed for people of all ages to enjoy together. The
Mm-hmm.
game will encourage creativity, experimentation, and collaboration through play. Matt,
Mm-hmm.
this is their Lego Minecraft in Fortnite. This will be
Yes.
available on December 7th. And one of the cool things about the data mines was that it revealed, Epic and Lego have made around 1,200 different Lego mini figures or skins based
Mm-hmm.
on your existing Fortnite skin collection. So
Oh.
it kind of came out that, or at least the leakers are hinting that if you own a Fortnite skin and it has a Lego variant, then you will be able to use that Lego variant in Lego Fortnite.
Oh.
And,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of revealed that mostly all the plan is for all Fortnite skins to get Lego variants if licenses,
Yeah. Yeah.
allow for that, where there will be. I don't think we're going to see any of like the anime characters become Lego figs, but for now, just seeing the data miners reveal, here's all the 1,200 Lego minifig skins that will be available when Lego Fortnite launches. I thought that was really daunting. But Matt,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who played his fair share of Minecraft and has not really touched Fortnite, Matt, does Lego Fortnite sound appealing to you?
Jaren, Lego Fortnite does sound very appealing to me
Mm-hmm.
because I can't really wrap my head. Like, has there been any video or anything like showing what is actually happening within the Lego Fortnite mode?
So over the weekend, it was the Fortnite OG season finale, which had
Mm-hmm.
the Big Bang event, which was, I'll be honest, Matt, a glorified commercial for this upcoming season. And
Yes.
during that event, we had a fly through of what Lego Fortnite looks to be, but it wasn't actual gameplay, but more so just like a cinematic kind of invoking what what the spirit of Lego Fortnite would be.
I
So we
see.
haven't really seen any gameplay, but at the time of recording and possibly when this episode gets released, it should be out. So don't worry, friends. Fortnite Corner will return next week when we get our hands on some Lego Fortnite. But
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
this is only one of 3 new modes. The second mode being rocket racing, which Epic describes is a supersonic arcade racer where players drift, fly, and boost with friends through an ever growing selection of tracks. Rocket Racing is developed by Psyonix, the visionary team behind Rocket League, and will be available on December 8th. That
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
does a Fortnite racing game developed by Psyonix sound appealing to you?
It does actually, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like it would be, a good, like, oh yeah, well, no, whatever. I'll download it. Let's see what's up. Kind of
Right.
experience for me. And I don't know if it's made by the Rocket League. Have they shown,
Mm-hmm.
Jaron? Have they shown video of this?
No, similar to Lego Fortnite, there was kind of this weird cinematic experience where your Fortnite character was on top of a Rocket League car, kind of driving on a track, and instead of controlling it, you can press. There was essentially quick time events where you had to, hold your right trigger to drift or press A to jump or
Oh,
boost. And there was this one instance where your car would go off a ramp and there was a quick time event for you to press A so it could kind of bunny hop into kind of a shortcut to give, at least a idea of what this mode
oh,
is
oh! That
going to
sounds less
entail.
appealing to me, Jared.
Yeah. No, but that was only the preview, but we haven't seen the actual gameplay of it. But I think, again, it was just a trailer invoking the spirit of what this mode is going to
I
be.
see. I see.
Yeah. So this is their take on the arcade racer. But Matt, given our shared mutual history of gaming, I think the third game is probably the one that is the most divisive in the current Fortnite community. But Matt,
Okay. Okay.
it's the one I'm looking forward to the most, and that is
Is it a gacha game, Jared?
no, Matt.
Uh huh.
It's Fortnite Festival, a new music game where players can play. Matt, tell me if you heard this before.
Okay.
A new music game where players can play in a band with friends or perform solo on stage with hit music by their favorite artists.
Oh man.
Built by Harmonix, the studio behind the iconic rock band, Festival marks the beginning of music gaming in Fortnite.
Oh man,
And
Jaren, I cannot, Jaren, I can't believe that Fortnite is really honestly becoming Ready Player One. Like, oh, I know we talked
Matt,
about this a couple of weeks ago, but like,
yeah.
man, Jaren, it's these like three modes are really hitting home for me that Epic is going to be controlling the metaverse.
Yeah. Matt, how does it feel in 2023 Fortnite is the spiritual successor to Rock Band?
Honestly, that makes sense. I'm Jared. If I wasn't coming back in for Lego Fortnite or Rocket Racing, I'm definitely gonna jam in Fortnite Festival.
So, Matt, The Weeknd, Canadian artist, international superstar, will kick off Fortnite Festival Season 1 as the game's first music icon when the game goes live December 9th. And this is where kind of the leaks are coming out, where I think this is where, as hyped as I am to try out, Lego Fortnite or Rocket Racing, and
Uh
especially
huh.
Fortnite Festival, I think this is all reading into the leaks. This is where my concerns come from in terms of saturation, where Lego Fortnite will be free to play. Well, everything
Uh
will be
huh.
free to play, but
Mm-hmm.
Rocket Racing and Fortnite Festival, uh, based on the leaks, seem to have their own paid battle passes. And everyone's suspecting, oh, if you sign up for Fortnite Crew, their monthly subscription service, maybe you'll get all battle passes.
I
Because right
see.
now, Fortnite Crew gives you the Fortnite Battle Pass and the Rocket League Battle Pass, plus some exclusive cosmetics. But none of that was announced. But I know looking at these leaks and seeing, oh, Rocket Racing will get its battle pass, and especially Fortnite Festival getting its own paid battle pass. Not only, sure, again, this is just based on what I'm seeing through leaks. Nothing's been confirmed, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
know by December 9th. But the Fortnite Festival battle pass right now is looking to have to be 1,250 V bucks, while the actual Fortnite battle pass is normally 950 V bucks.
Uh huh.
And there are only what seems to be 11 tiers or so, one free track and one paid track, with the weekend skin being the final unlockable on the paid tier track.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the this battle pass, you'll unlock different cosmetics, different skins for instruments, and songs as well to play through.
Uh huh.
But one of the concerning thing is for me not seeing the full battle pass. I don't see any hints of you're gonna get V bucks back. So I think the whole point of a battle pass, or at least the standard Fortnite has created, is you buy into the battle pass, you earn enough premium currency to buy the next battle pass and then some. Where
Mm-hmm.
if Fortnite Festival and then maybe Rocket Racing doesn't do the same thing, that's where it becomes like a harder sell for me.
Ah,
And
I
then
see.
it's not only that, but the whole, oh, how do I earn XP for these battle passes? Is it specifically through these modes? Does that XP go into my Fortnite battle pass? And all of a sudden, if you want to try all these different modes Fortnite has to offer, if they all have their own battle passes, um, that's where it kind of gets, oh, this is chore territory. Now I have to do
Yes.
3 dailies for 3 different games, or my FOMO will get the best of me. Where, um, looking through some of the fan reception right now, a lot of people were excited for this weekend skin to come to Fortnite, but it's why don't they just sell it? Why are they, making you buy this battle pass, do dailies and whatnot? And man, it's all about that engagement, baby. But as someone who, has limited free time, as excited as I am for these modes, it's, oh, can I actually, is me in 2023 able to invest in new experiences, if that makes sense? Where that's kind of where my concern is coming right now, where I'm interested to check this out. And Matt, I've been a lifelong Harmonix fan, and of course I'm gonna check out what they're doing. But again, it's a bit concerning where, as much as this is a new opportunity, this new fresh start for Fortnite to become this quote unquote metaverse, it's it's the FOMO, it's the battle passes, it's the time sinks that make me concerned in particular. But before we move on from Fortnite, Matt, as I said, we have a new Chapter 5 Season 1 Battle Pass for Fortnite. Brand new map, brand new mechanics, new Battle Pass that features Solid Snake with his nerfed cakes. Matt, what does Fortnite and Epic have against cakes? Because every time I see, a character with who is supposed to have a pronounced butt, as we've seen with Snake in Super Smash Brothers. I just see some flat polygons here in Fortnite. Matt, why is Epic scared of butts?
Jaren, I think if you put too much butts in Fortnite, people are gonna start saying the game is butts, and they can't have that, Jaren.
That's true, Matt. That's true. But we can have a new season with new mechanics. And Matt, before we move on, because I'm sure everyone's bored of me talking about Fortnite, I have to say that after playing, Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 1 for a few days, I don't think Fortnite Battle Royale is for me anymore, Matt.
Oh, no.
Where after playing it, my biggest takeaway was, oddly enough, I think they're trying to make the gameplay feel more like Warzone. When I look over at Call of Duty Warzone, it's trying to get that same zaniness as Fortnite. Where, so with the game or with the new Fortnite chapter, you have a lot of new animations, but it feels a bit more sluggish, where in general the movement speed seems a bit slower. And as someone who primarily crouches when they play Battle Royale, because Matt, I'm a scared boy, I need to be crouching. Crouching is notably slower now, where someone compared. So essentially in Fortnite Creative, it still has the physics from last season, but if you play Battle Royale, it has the new physics, where the crouch speed in the new season of Fortnite is like 43% slower than it was last season. And it's so jarring now. Where I'm also not a fan of the weapon mod system, where you now have, so you have, your base weapons, but now they can have different weapon mods, different magazines, different things for the recoil, different scopes, where picking up a weapon now has this, it's slightly random, random now, because you don't know what mods you're really going to get on your weapon. And there are weapon mod benches, but those seem to be tucked away in, key hotspots. Maybe they're being guarded by a boss. Maybe they're inside a vault, where it's not as readily accessible as the upgrade stations were in previous seasons. So that also kind of makes it weird. Every new point of interest has a boss character now. You have mobs around that shoot you on sight. And I think the biggest thing for me, Matt,
Hmm.
is two things. One, um, they changed their weapons, at least for like their snipers and rifles, from hit scan to kind of, projectile, and they have bullet drop now, and that
Oh, damn.
as a
Uh-huh.
baby, that's not for me, Matt. That's not for me. And
Oh
I'm
man.
also not speaking about battle passes. I'm not a fan of how they're handling their daily missions now, where in previous seasons, when you start up the game, you have, okay, here are your 3 daily missions. And when you party up with people, um, everyone essentially shares their pool of daily missions, and then everyone contributes to each other's missions. So, you know, you and me can be playing duos. We'll go into a game. You have your missions, I have my missions. We all share them together, and everything we do goes into all the missions. I think that was a nice quality of life feature. But in the new season, when you start off the game, it says, okay, choose one of 3 missions to do in this game only. And you used to go from banging out your daily, you can bang out all 3 dailies in one game. Now it's at least 3 games a day for you to do your dailies, assuming you're
Oh.
able to get a daily each game. And that's not for
Uh-huh.
me.
Uh-huh.
Not for me. We have XP nerfs in Save the World where I'm AFKing. And speaking about the V-Bucks thing, on average, a Fortnite Battle Pass will give you 1,500 V-Bucks, and then it costs 950 to pay for it. Well, you only get 1,000 V-Bucks now when you hit level 100 on your Battle Pass, and then you have to hit like I think 140 now to get the remaining bonus thing. So again, it's all these weird changes mechanically that aren't for me in my playstyle, but also
Hmm.
when you look at, oh, this is how they're trying to push engagement, this is how they're trying to push you into microtransactions. It's the weird business side of things that's kind of off-putting for this season, where I think after 3 games of playing that, I'm not sure if Fortnite Battle Royale is for me anymore, but I'm now, cautiously optimistic about some of these other modes and trying to experience them for the first time. But
Hmm.
that's Fortnite Chapter 5, Season 1, The Metaverse.
Uh-huh.
Uh, More on that next week when we finally get our hands on some of these new modes. And that
Hmm.
I'm just curious if we'll be able to plug in our rock band instruments and for
Oh
them to
man.
somehow work with Fortnite Festival.
Jared, what do you think the chances are of them introducing a whole new set of peripherals that you need? Or no, not that you need, but would enhance the experience of Fortnite Festival?
Matt, I feel like Epic used to be in a place that I could see them doing it, but how many people did they lay off this year? Like 900? Not also icky, also icky. I
Uh-huh.
don't think that's in the cards anymore.
Oh man. I mean, Jaren, while we're on kind of talking about new modes coming to old games,
Yes.
Jaren, Baldur's Gate 3 dropped patch 5, I believe,
Okay.
this past week, and patch 5 has introduced a new difficulty called Honor Mode. And Jaren, this is essentially their Iron Man mode, where you are not able to load a previous save. When you exit the game, it creates a new save for you to load from. And while you're playing a game, like within honor mode, you lose access to the load game menu. You have to basically
Oh,
like go out into the main menu so that the game saves for
so
before
this
you do anything.
is the anti-Jaren mode, is what you're saying.
This is basically the anti-Jaren mode. Yes, it
Okay.
is. You are hard locked into your roles. You accidentally attack somebody. You're done, Jaren. And about 4 or 5 hours into the game, I tried to get a particular like animal companion to join just my camp so that it's there all the time. But I accidentally made everything around them hostile
Oh no.
and I panicked. And Jaren, this is when I learned that it creates saves when you exit, because I did what any any gamer would do and be like, "Oh no, I made a mistake," and I just smashed Alt F4 to close the game.
Right.
Jaren, when you Alt F4 out of honor mode, they make it so that it does a save before it closes the game, and that crushed me, Jaren. When I loaded up that save again, the animal companion died, and I started a new save.
Matt,
Uh huh.
as on the one hand, this Iron Man mode does not sound appealing to my style of gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
where I like a controlled environment where
Yes.
I'm in control,
Mm-hmm.
where I'll have something happen and think, oh, I kind of don't like that. Maybe I'll reload.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one or two autosaves back, just
Yes.
to see the next outcome because as I mentioned before, limited free time where I want to enjoy. If I'm going to play a game once, I
Mm-hmm.
want to have an optimal experience to my liking. But
Yes. Mm-hmm.
if I had the time,
Mm-hmm.
something like an Iron Man mode sounds really appealing to me, where the as again that's the complete opposite to how I play games these days, where having to live with your choices, especially ones on the fly,
Uh-huh.
sounds exhilarating to me,
Mm-hmm.
where it's so different than what I'm used to that I think I would be more inclined to try it out and live, with my choices. Where I, Matt, would you say an Man mode is better for, a new game plus experience, not necessarily a new game plus, but like a second, third playthrough experience? Or would you also recommend that to someone going in for their first time?
Oh, I don't think you should do this your first time going
Hmm.
in. The reason that I wanted to do the new honor mode difficulty is that one, like I kind of do want to just like take different companions through the story and build up their and like see their stories because I never had them within the dialogues and stuff. Kind of like how you would replay Mass Effect with different companions so that you could get their dialogue like on just like familiar situations that you were in before.
Hmm.
Um, Also, a nice thing about honor mode is that like once you do die in honor mode, it does give you the option to be like, hey, you can continue your save, but you're not going to get like the honor mode achievement, but it
Right.
reverts to like a normal save
Normal.
file afterwards.
Okay. That seems
Um,
nice, at least, like a compromise.
mhm. But the thing that really drew me to honor mode to begin with is that it is a not only a save difficulty like change, they added new difficulty stuff to it. Like
Okay.
they are promoting it by saying, "Hey, you only get one save. This is for like the hardcore of the hardcore." And the bosses and enemies within this mode all have like some slight tweaks to like surprise you when you're on your way like through the game.
Hmm.
And that really interested in me because like I want to see what changes they made to the bosses and like what new stuff they gave and if I think it's fair or not, uh, or if it like genuinely will catch me by surprise or not. Which is like like
Okay.
yeah, what was really drawing me in towards Baldur's Gate 3.
That's actually really cool. Did they also add a new companion, or did I misread
No,
something?
no, they didn't add a new companion, but they did expand everybody's companion story.
Oh,
Because
okay.
one of the biggest complaints with Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of like before patch 5 release is that the endings were very unsatisfying.
Hmm.
And what they ended up doing with this patch is that they added basically prologues for all the companion characters and like major story characters and your own character, which I think
Yeah.
is like a very, like nice thing to add and to be able to go back to, reload a near end game save and then get all the prologues and stuff. Because Jaren, I love me a good prologue and seeing how your choices like turned out depending on what choices you made throughout the game.
Right. Okay. That sounds really cool, Matt. And Matt,
Hmm.
I know I was probably going to save this for our year in review episode in a few weeks,
Uh
but
huh.
pound for pound, do you think Baldur's Gate has been one of your I guess in terms of gaming, you're the best ROI experience for you this year.
I think that yes, it is probably like the best. It is the game that I played this year that I paid for that I've definitely played the most.
All
And
right, Matt.
I mean, I guess I'll just like just say here, Jared. It honestly is giving. I honestly am like kind of up in the air on what I'm going to name my game of the year between Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, because it
Oh
is
man, Matt.
very iffy for me, Jared, and I don't know where I'm gonna land at the end of this year.
Man, I think we need to tell our friends to stay tuned for your
Hmm.
written review episode
Hmm.
towards the end of the year. I promise this year I won't rank Fortnite skins, unlike last year, but we'll see what else we can rank this
Jared,
year,
some of those
Matt.
Fortnite skills are actually pretty good.
There were some good ones this year, Matt.
Hmm.
A lot of
Hmm.
collabs this year that were really interesting. Maybe I'll maybe I'll go back on what I just said, and maybe I'll rate some Fortnite skins this year.
Man, Jared.
But
Okay, Jared. I also hate to to kind of like roll back into Fortnite,
yeah,
but it kind of just occurred to me now that with collabs, Jared, Fortnite Festival could be wild. Jared, I can't wait to play anime theme songs in Fortnite Festival.
oh man, I can only Matt. I think
Hmm.
we saw Hatsune Miku and Fall Guys.
Oh man,
Um, I can only hope, Matt. I can only hope.
oh man, Jared,
But
that'll be the best.
to bring us back to Baldur's Gate now with this beefy update,
Hmm.
um, is there anything in potentially an update 6 or an update 7 that you would hope that they would look into as well, or are there any just quality of life things that you hope will be explored in the future?
I don't know. They added a kind of like decent amount of quality of life stuff to patch 5. I think the one quality of life that I really, really wanted the most before this patch they added, which was that you can now control your party members' inventory or like your companion's inventory without adding them to your main party, which is a huge quality of life because you always have to go through like basically two menus for the person that you're removing from your party, and then two menus to add somebody to your party, then handle them, and then do another two menus to remove the person, and then another two to re-add the first person. So that quality of life honestly just saves me a lot of time.
Okay.
But I think from what I've been seeing that is that this is going to be the kind of last major patch.
Okay.
Everything else is going to be kind of like smaller things, and there's a lot of Jaren again those data miners data mining again. A lot of stuff within like data mine stuffs that is really suggesting that the next thing would be a DLC.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
That's cool. That's exciting, Matt.
Hmm.
Matt,
Hmm.
hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
What if for update 6
Hmm.
or DLC 1 for Baldur's Gate 3,
Hmm.
what if your main character could, I don't know, travel between the 19 metro stations located throughout the city, on 5 different lines via fast travel or riding the train itself while gazing out the window and watching the world go by? Do
Oh
you think
man,
that's might be something they can explore?
Jaren, that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be very fun, especially if they decide to make us a ride on some sort of serpent-like creature, between all these stations.
How about okay, hear me, out, Matt. You have a
Hmm.
big party in Baldur's Gate 3.
Uh huh.
What if you were able to invite your love interest to spend some time together in any of your um, camps or residences or I don't know apartments? And what if these hangouts were repeatable, unlimited events that become available once the romance path with a given character has concluded?
Jaren, that would be very, very, a very, very good addition. Also, Jaren, I really, really hope that when you invite them to these other camps, that all these camps have their own kind of unique interactions, and you don't just have like I don't know 3 or 4 set ones that just play in different locations.
Oh man, Matt,
Uh huh.
I thought that was a good bit, but when we're talking about updates, of course, as a podcast that explored a lot of Cyberpunk 2077, Edge Runners, and Phantom Liberty, um, you know, CD Projekt Red, they announced the update 2.1 patch for Cyberpunk 2077 coming
Mm-hmm.
out tomorrow, Matt. Uh, I guess tomorrow for us, already out when you're listening to this podcast. It brings the usual bug fixes, changes, and gameplay improvements. But Matt,
Mm-hmm.
some of these new features, including the subway station, the romance, being able to invite your romance or your love interest to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt, one thing that I'm surprised not a lot of open world games do, but I think Watch Dogs 2 was the last one, was the
Mm-hmm.
fact that now you can listen to the radio while on
Oh,
foot or riding
yes.
on the train using the radio port feature. But
Uh-huh.
I'm really curious why a lot of open world games, don't necessarily give you an MP3 player or, something of the like for you just to listen to all these massive licensed soundtracks on foot. But
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Jaren, once I came back for Cyberpunk 2.0, I
yeah.
genuinely thought that there already was like a built-in radio that you could
Hmm.
listen to whenever you want, and I was so surprised when I was going through kind of just like menus and looking online that there wasn't already something like that. Because
Right.
just within the Cyberpunk world, that seems like something that should exist.
Yeah. No, definitely. They're also adding replayable car races,
Mm-hmm.
sightseeing binoculars, a bunch of accessibility options, more customization for the HUD, and the bug changes and everything. But Matt,
Mm-hmm.
when they announced last week that they were going to share what the 2.1 update entails, I honestly haven't touched Cyberpunk since, and I'm really waiting for this update to go live so I can
Mm-hmm.
finally get around to saving Songbird. But
Uh-huh.
after you reviewed the 2.1 patch information, I think this might be their last, something similar to what you said about Baldur's Gate 3, their last major update for the game. And then afterwards, kind of, the smaller updates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for 2077. What do you think of essentially this last hurrah of an update?
Uh, I honestly think like it's adding like a lot of like kind of nice stuff, Jaren. I
Hmm.
don't know if I'm gonna particularly touch all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
I think for sure, definitely, I'm gonna just spend some time on the train and just
yeah.
like look how that goes. But other than that, I don't know what else I'd be doing. I liked the races, Jaren, but I didn't. I hope that there's like it's not so repeated that it's just like these exact same like what was it like? There's like six races in the game, like the three
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Claire and then a couple more. I hope it's like not exactly those. I hope it kind of does do some kind of like not pre-gen. What's the opposite of pre-gen, Jared?
Uh,
So I'm a programmer. I should know this. Some
yeah.
like procedurally generated kind of like race courses
Right, right.
throughout like Night City because I feel like that could definitely be a very fun thing.
You know what kind of races I really liked in open world games like Midnight Club and
Hmm.
the like? Just like point to point races where you start off in one, section of the map and they'll drop down a point and you just have to race to that point.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Where I'm kind of looking at everything else, Matt. I see a GIF of V doing a backflip on a motorcycle. They're
Oh
adding
yeah,
five new
yeah.
motorcycles. Oh, and a new Porsche, oddly enough, which I'm kind of excited in terms of just another licensed Porsche to get
Yeah, I saw they're
in the
adding a
game.
couple like new vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. I like motorcycle, so looking forward to getting a new Porsche in the game, new motorcycle, and to continue my adventures in Night City, Matt.
Hmm.
But in terms of things I was playing in the meantime, I actually was browsing through Game Pass and I came across a one of the games that I've been hearing, a lot of positive experiences on lately. And
Hmm.
that is called Venba, which is a small indie title. I believe it's Canadian developed.
Hmm.
And this is a short, I think it's a 2 hour experience on average.
Oh,
And the
true.
basic premise of Venba is you follow this immigrant family. They are of Indian descent,
Hmm.
and it's kind of following that. I don't want to say, Matt, this quote unquote cliche immigrant experience, just because I feel like as someone with, immigrant parents, it touches upon a lot of, again, I, for lack of a better term, I don't want to reduce experiences that I think, us having immigrant parents, have
Mm-hmm.
experienced before, but it kind of goes through these different, what essentially have become tropes and cliches in, um, I guess, modern media to an extent of these are your tried and true stories of, with Venma and her husband, it's raising their son, who is born in Canada, and him kind of dealing with, that identity crisis of you being of, a Canadian, being Canadian, but still having that history from your parents and their home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the, you know, it's them kind of exploring all of these different scenarios that we've seen, not only firsthand or secondhand personally, but also through the media where,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we have Venba's husband trying, even though he has credentials in India, how those don't necessarily apply in Canada, or having their son trying to hide his lunch because it's different than other kids. So again,
Mm-hmm.
it's these common immigrant experiences that we've all seen before in some capacity. Again, whether it be personal, whether it be through media, but again, just seeing it more so in a kind of bite size, tight experience is something that really hits close to home and is a
Mm-hmm.
story that I enjoyed going through just because you start to put your own kind of personal spin on it of, oh, how do I relate with this story being told? But all this immigrant story is told around this notion of cooking. So Matt, this is
Oh,
essentially
okay.
a visual novel meets cooking. I don't want to say simulator, but um, cooking game where,
Like Cooking
th-
Mama sort of cooking,
yeah,
or
sort
oh,
of
okay.
like Cooking Mama, where I really do appreciate it because it allows you to see how Venba and her family communicate through food, essentially, and through making all these Indian dishes. And as someone who loves Indian food but doesn't know a thing about making it, it's kind of fun having these small little mini games to, follow Venba and her family cooking and
Mm-hmm.
just seeing how it relates to the story and just all the funny things that they do to kind of gamify everything. Where I also appreciate how Venba has this family cookbook, but of course, since it's an old cookbook, it's kind of worn down. So you're trying to kind of make guesses of, oh, what's the next step of this process?
Oh,
Where
I see. I see.
again, it's a bite-sized experience, which I recommend. Not only are you introduced to food of another culture that you might not be one used to, but also don't know how it's made. So just to get this gamified version of cooking food, I think is really cool. But again, as someone who has immigrant parents, um, just seeing that story play off in the background and seeing how I relate to what's being told, I think overall it's a really fun, tight, not fun, tight experience if you have an hour or two just to kind of pass by. I do recommend Venba. It's on Game Pass right now. I believe it's part of a few humble bundles out there as well. Check it out if you have an hour or two to pass, or you want to play with someone who might not be that gaming inclined, but also wants to experience something. So I recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about Game Pass, Matt, I know I'm not going to go too deep into it because you talked about it during one of our Steam Next Fest episodes. But Matt,
Mm-hmm.
been playing through some Jusant,
Uh-huh.
and that's a tight experience, Matt. I really enjoy a game that has a it sticks to its premise. It does that one premise really well.
Uh-huh.
I'm a sucker for climbing. I really like it's not quite. what's that one game that Quap was it where you control all
Yes.
the different limbs of a character? It's not quite that level, but I feel like it's a good middle ground between a casual game, but like still having each of the triggers control your hands. I love the animation of you trying to reach out to the next hand hole or whatever point to climb on.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
think in my mind it was a bit so essentially, as you explained before, Matt, left trigger controls your left hand, trigger controls your right hand. Where I know the right joystick controls cameras, but for the first couple of maybe 15, 20 minutes of playing the game, I had to disassociate that. Oh, the right stick doesn't control your right arm, if that kind of makes sense to you. Where I
Mm-hmm.
thought it would be more quap like in that, where the left, when you're climbing, the left stick would control your hand or your left hand, and your right stick would control your right hand just for feeling out. But again, um, it's just a tight experience. I really do I enjoy my time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of Matt. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you got the sense in the demo, but to me, even though the whole point of Jusant is climbing up, I feel like the mountain or whatever you're climbing is bigger than it. It's deceptively more bigger than it appears to be. Where I feel like I'm missing out on secret locations, if that
Oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
I definitely got that when I was playing that game.
Where even if I was like trying to beeline the camp, I can't help but think, oh, maybe I should explore somewhere else. Where,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's a tight experience. I think my only two kind of criticism, small things. One, there have been times where I've been caught on the geometry when I've just been walking. I'll kind of be
Oh, I
like
see.
standing on something and then I'll just be stuck on like a pile of rubble or a rock or something where I have to like mash jump or like jimmy my joystick until I was able to break free. And two, Matt, I don't know about you,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought the guy's default movement speed was a bit too fast for my liking. I feel like Jusant is this tranquil game where I don't know. I feel like your main character could walk a bit slower, even when I'm just, doing 10% of the joystick. I feel like he goes a bit too fast for
I see.
what the atmosphere is portraying to me. But other than that, tight experience. I think I'm 2 hours in. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. I don't think this is a super long game either. But yeah, looking forward to. I'm not trying to beeline it and finish it right away. I think it's one of those things of, oh, I have like 15 minutes here or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
climb some rocks right now.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the side stories, it's being told through documentations, journal entries, letters you find.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of piecing everything together, but just at its core, really enjoying the climbing of Jusant. And it does make me want to look into indoor rock climbing or bouldering as well. But I'll have to work on that upper body strength, man. Have
Uh-huh.
to work on
Uh-huh.
that.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, those were some of the games I've been playing this week. Matt, anything else you've been playing?
Jaren, there is one other thing that I've been playing this week,
Okay.
and it is a board game called Final Girl.
Okay. Matt, you're already selling me on with the name itself. It's Final Girl.
So, Jaren, Final Girl is a single player board game.
Oh, now you really have my attention, Matt.
Yes, because like Jaren, I like board games and all, but I I have, issues like, getting out and socializing with people because Jaren, I am a very stay at home kind of guy. So the opportunities for me to like really like dive deep into board games is like,
Mhm.
becoming kind of like limited. So I decided to look into single player board games. And Final Girl is the one that really stuck out to me. So, Jaren, I'm sure you know about the like kind of like Final Girl trope for movies, right?
Yes.
So where like it's basically in any horror movie, there's like just like the one lone girl who defeats the like big bad monster at the end.
Right. Usually after all her friends have died.
Yes, after all of her friends have died.
Yep.
And that is basically what this board game series is. So the board game itself is divided into multiple boxes that you have to like kind of purchase separately. But what you have to purchase is the core box, which is the box that contains kind of like the stuff you use to control the girl herself and kind of like the rules on how to play the game. What you then buy are kind of, I don't know if it's appropriate to call these expansions. It's more like the monster and place you want to
Right.
like combat.
So
And in
like
my
scenarios
case,
and stuff. Yeah.
yes, yeah, scenario boxes. And the one that I decided to get is the Camp Happy Trails box, which is in essence Friday the 13th with like their
Okay.
version of like fake Jason at fake Camp Crystal Lake. And the way the game works is it is essentially kind of a deck builder push your luck type game where you have like a map and you kind of traverse it using your final girl, and you are trying to save hostages and to do and combat the kind of big bad. And the way that you're doing this is with cards and dice. And what the dice are Jaron, they remind me a lot of fate dice from our Saturday morning adventure kind of a thing, where
Right.
they have it's a six-sided dice with two blank sides, two stars, and then two playing cards on them. And the way it works is that you have cards in your hand which let you do actions such as, walk, sprint, weak attack, strong attack, plan, and all these sort of like actions within game. And you roll the dice to determine if you're able to do the action. Each of the cards is divided into kind of 0 stars, 1 stars, and 2 stars, where 0 stars is your worst outcome, 1 star is better, and then 2 stars is your best outcome. And for
Okay.
example, like on the walk card, it's like if you have 0 stars, you can either, I think it's like take 1 damage and move 1 space, or don't take any damage, don't take any, and don't move at all. And then on the 1 star, you have, okay, move 1 space. And then on the 2 star, it's you can move 2 spaces. And the kind of like amount of dice you roll is determined by something called like a horror meter, where the more kind of like bad stuff that happens to you, whether it's being attacked by the kind of murderer killer, or the killer attacks kind of random victims that you're trying to save, you move like up and down on this horror track, and the lower you are on the horror track, the less dice you're able to roll, and vice versa. The higher you are on the like horror track, the more safe you are, and the more dice you roll. And the game itself is like a very nice kind of balancing act between all of like these systems. And I think it's like a very very nice and like kind of like tight system that plays very well. I While I'm still kind of like learning this game, I really only have like a 50% win rate
Okay.
against it, because like I think it's like, and that is on its like normal difficulty, while like there is still like a even more like difficulty that I haven't bothered trying because I still can't win consistently. But I think it like plays very well. It's a very nice game. The design of the boxes honestly is what initially drew me to the game the most,
Right.
because the box lids for each kind of scenario are magnetic, and they seal
Oh
the box
wow.
normally, but then
Yeah.
when you pull them off the box, they fully disconnect from like the box, because the boxes kind of look like just like standard books, but like they fully come off and then they become the boards themselves. And I think that's like a very
That's
fun
really
use
cool.
of the
Yeah.
of like just using everything. And because of the way that they designed the scenarios, Camp Crystal Lake, oh no, what's it called actually in this game? Like Camp Happy Trails
Right.
is basically a kind of deck of cards that you mix into something called the horror deck. And in this horror deck is comprised of your location cards, which, like I said, is like the Camp Happy Trails, and then the killer cards, which is in this case like Hans the Butcher. And you like shuffle those together, you deal out a certain amount, and then that is like the actions that your killer is going to take throughout their turns. The killer themselves, kind of like has the ability to move around, gain powers, and just make it even harder for you to kill them the longer the game goes on. This deck of cards being comprised from the killer and the location makes it so that, hey, sometimes the killer is going to do something specific to the killer, like, hey, it's Hans the Butcher. He's going on a like butcher spree, and instead of when he attacks this turn, instead of attacking one victim, he attacks all the victims at the same time, sort of thing. And then on the other hand, you've mixed in cards from the location, so it's like, hey, a whirlpool has started within the lake. You can no longer like take the path that takes you across the lake.
Okay.
And dividing these two things into both the killer cards and the location cards makes it so that you can mix and match when you're doing scenarios. So like another scenario is, for example, based on Ripley from Alien, right?
Yeah.
So you could take that box and then you could in theory have non-copywritten version of Alien
Of course. Yeah.
in like Camp Happy Trails, and or knock off Freddy Krueger in like a circus or something. And that kind of mix and matching thing is what really, really drew me even more towards like this franchise. And Jaren, I think that the one thing that I was honestly really disappointed about in this game is that it uses standard meeples for the characters. Which, and by that I mean like your killer is just kind of like this kind of like red person shaped token, and then your final girl is like this like, I can't actually remember what color she is. That's like green like character shaped token. And I was really, really hoping, because there is like a premium box set where it contains all of the final girls and killers as like unique tokens, and I was really hoping
Right.
that those were coming with the each like singular expansion pack or scenario. But
Matt,
yeah.
I'm looking at so I'm looking on Amazon right now just because not gonna lie, Matt, you're selling me on this. This is something I want to check out. But kind of as you said, I think purchasing is a bit confusing because at first, there's, as you said, you need the core box.
Yes.
And then there are different scenarios, and then there is season 1, this big box for $230.
Yes.
But then I'm looking at other episodes, which are Wave 2, which I'm guessing you can mix and match those cards as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at, here's the Wave 2 miniature box with all the different miniatures, but there's also the Wave 2 vehicle pack, Matt. As I said, DLC getting crazy right now.
DLC is getting crazy. Yes.
But yeah, I can see what you mean, because I'm looking at the Wave 2 miniatures, and I would hope that some of these would come in the boxes themselves, because I'm looking at right now, Madness in the Dark seems like something I might be into. Slaughter in the Groves looks pretty cool. And yeah, Matt, I do like the knockoff. This is going to... this is a callback, Matt, from way back in the Saturday Morning Arcade days, but I like the Chris Bash kind of aura that all these box arts are giving out, which is really selling it on me. Carnage at the Carnival, great name, that right amount of camp. But so in term, as you said, this is a single player game. You do need a core box plus any of your scenarios, episodes that you want to play through. Maybe throw in some vehicle or some tokens if you want.
Hmm.
But yeah, Matt. So as you said, you were playing Happy Trails Horrors. Do you have another scenario you might want to look into once you kind of get the gameplay down?
I think the one that I want to go to next is Carnage at the Carnival.
Hmm.
Because I since each scenario also has like a unique killer associated to it. The
Yeah.
killer for Carnage at the Carnival sounded very interesting to me, so I kind of like wanted to give that one a try.
Right.
But I don't know, Jared. Like I think it's like really nice too. Like each scenario also comes with two final girls. Like
Okay.
I know that like if you're looking at this on Amazon, it's showing like one girl on the box, but when you turn the, it's like a double sided box
Yeah.
cover, so the other side of the box has a different girl, and each final girl has their own kind of like play style because they all have their own like kind of powers. They have their own kind of life totals, and I think very interestingly, Jaren, they have each box comes like this like little envelope that's like says like, hey, once you clear the scenario with like this final girl, open this envelope, and then you get the that final girl's unique like item, and
Oh,
you can
that's
add it
cool.
to the like the kind of like items deck that you can find throughout the throughout like the whatever map you're playing on. And I think
Okay.
that's like a very like fun bit.
So you said this was a single player game.
Hmm.
Could you see opportunity of, hey, maybe playing this with someone who might not be gaming inclined, like making it a co-op experience, or does it lend itself to that? Yeah.
I think you could like definitely turn this into a co-op experience. I think it like lends itself pretty well because it while it is like a single player game, it is a game that's kind of like driven by decision making and push your luck
Okay.
mechanics. So having like somebody there to co-op with and like discuss, hey, do you think we should do this? Do you think we should do that? What do you think we should do with like these like cards that we can use is like a very like very doable thing.
Okay.
And
Dang, Matt. Wish I talked to you about this during the Black Friday period. I
mhm,
wonder
mhm.
if any of these were on sale because, Matt, not gonna lie, I am eyeing Madness in the Dark and the core set right now.
Oh man, Jaron,
Uh,
actually, I'm looking at the Amazon stuff right now.
yeah.
It's actually cheaper at our like local game store if you want to go that way. It's
Okay.
because I'm seeing on Amazon that like core set is like $30 and then
Yeah.
like a expansion is like also $30. At our local, it's like 20 22 for a core set and then 18 for a scenario box, which
Okay.
is like a
Matt,
pretty like yeah.
gotta support some local businesses.
Oh,
That's why I've been, yeah.
yes,
I was gonna
Jared,
say that's
sorry.
why I've been eating pizza a lot.
Yo, Jared, I love me some za.
Yeah.
But I do want to just touch on actually one mechanic within a Final Girl that I actually really, really like and I think ties into the theming very, very well.
Okay.
Which is that like I said, each Final Girl has her own like amount of like, HP and by extension, like also the enemy that the murderer that you're trying to kill also has their own HP. A mechanic that I really, really enjoy is that the final, like for the most part, your HP is like just heart token, like these tokens that are like just heart shaped, right?
Yep.
But your final hit point for both your final girl and your killer is is like a cardboard, like kind of cutout token that also just has a heart on it.
Mm.
And the very like I think fun thing about this is that there are, obviously going to be multiples of these within your box. So you randomly kind of just pick one and then you put it as like their final hit point. But when you or the murderer lose their final hit point, you flip it over and there is potential for there to be one or more hit points there for them. Kind of giving that kind of like, that suspense of, oh, but wait, they're not really dead.
Right.
And, kind of both, I have been already on both ends of, I have barely killed the killer. I hit them for that final hit, and oh no, they've come back with 3 health and I've lost. But I've also been on the other end of, I'm about to die. I really, really hope that there's hearts on the other side of this token, and
Yeah.
coming out on like the good side of that to the win is I think even better than coming out than the amount of like sadness you feel when you come out on the lost side of it.
Matt, there's a lot of flavor to this. This is really cool. Matt, you sold me. You sold me, and maybe I'll need to hit up some local gaming stores just to see if I can, don't want to give what's his name, Bezos or whatever, some more money, but I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. But yeah, as I'm looking through the screens, Matt, I think you're right. I would have preferred some miniatures, but hey, if the entry point is $20, I can kind of understand. But those miniature sets are really tempting, Matt. Before we move on, Matt,
Yep.
you've seen all the different expansions, all the different scenarios. What other scenario would you want to see for potentially wave 3 or 4? I'm not sure how many waves there are.
I don't actually know, Jaren, because to be honest, my knowledge of Final Girl stuff or not Final Girl, horror movies is kind of limited.
Right.
I think the one franchise that really comes to mind that I don't remember seeing a Final Girl kind of scenario for is The Ring.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, again, I'm not that big on horror as well. I think for me, the only horror adjacent thing I know and get all my horror things from is Dead by Daylight. So I would have to kind of cross-check everything to see what has been done and what could be done.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, man. So Final Girl, check it out. And I guess Amazon has it, but if your local game store, check it out. Support local businesses. And Matt, I think that was a good beefy episode of the Mistake Zone. We were able to talk about some trailers, some patch notes, some data miners, some leaks, but also some games that we're playing. Matt, just gotta tell you, man, Kasumi was really not herself in the ending of Persona 5 Royal. But as always, I want to thank you for joining me this week and editing this podcast.
Yo, Jaren, I want to thank you for hosting this podcast and, bringing to me the knowledge of Fortnite Festival.
Thanks, man. Who else do we need to thank? I want to thank Grand Theft. I'm trying to think. CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I want to thank Chris Bash. I want to thank Final Girls. And I want to thank Matt during the Fortnite Big Bang event. When your character was traversing the multiverses, we saw a Fall Guys bean. So I'm curious when that Fall Guys implementation will come into Fortnite. And Matt, what with all the announcements of just all the crossovers, the multiverses, all the guest characters in Fortnite. Before we sign off, Matt, what do you think of the goof of, hey, remember when I was in Fortnite?
Jaren, I feel like we've said this before. Fortnite is just Smash now, and
Yeah.
Jaren, I can't wait for every Smash representative to end up in Fortnite, so that you can say these are truly crossovers.
What do you think of the playground rumor that Epic wanted Samus in Fortnite, but Nintendo only would let her be in the game if she only appeared on the Nintendo version?
Jared, my uncle that works at Nintendo said, yeah, that's definitely still in the works, Jared.
Oh man, Matt. Well, before you call your uncle for the information on the Switch 2 and Samus's inclusion in Fortnite, please take it away.
This has been the Mistake Zone, and we're all out of fast crouched movement speed.
So bad, man. So bad.